Let's start by gathering the ingredients. Could you please pass me the salt? I'll chop the vegetables while you preheat the oven. Can you check if the water is boiling? The recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'll marinate the chicken, and you can prepare the sauce. Could you help me stir the batter? Let's add a pinch of pepper for some extra flavor. Can you set the timer for 10 minutes? I'll sauté the onions, and you can peel the garlic. Can you taste the soup and adjust the seasoning? I'll whisk the eggs, and you can grate the cheese. Let's baste the turkey with some melted butter. Could you please preheat the grill? I'll pour the batter into the cake pan. Can you chop the herbs for garnish? I'll measure the flour, and you can add the baking powder. Let's melt the chocolate over a double boiler. Could you pass me the measuring cup? I'll knead the dough, and you can grease the baking sheet. Can you check if the chicken is cooked thoroughly? I'll season the steak, and you can sear it on the grill. Let's add a dash of cinnamon for a warm flavor. Could you please beat the eggs until they're frothy? I'll slice the tomatoes, and you can grate the carrots. Can you whisk the dressing for the salad? I'll deglaze the pan with some white wine. Let's sprinkle some sesame seeds on top for garnish. Could you pass me the olive oil? I'll mix the dry ingredients, and you can beat the eggs. Can you chop the parsley for the garnish? I'll spread the frosting on the cake. Let's simmer the sauce on low heat. Could you please drain the pasta? I'll crack the eggs, and you can separate the yolks. Can you melt the butter for the sauce? I'll steam the vegetables, and you can prepare the rice. Let's add a splash of lemon juice for acidity. Could you pass me the vegetable peeler? I'll grate the cheese, and you can chop the onions. Can you check if the meat is tender enough? I'll caramelize the onions, and you can mince the garlic. Let's add a sprig of rosemary for aromatic flavor. Could you please whisk the eggs until they're fluffy? I'll spread the dough on the baking sheet. Can you season the fish with some herbs? I'll julienne and the carrots, and you can dice the bell peppers. Let's drizzle some olive oil over the salad. Could you pass me the bacon tray? I'll mix the wet ingredients, and you can add the dry ones. Can you garnish the dish with some fresh basil leaves? I'll melt the chocolate for the fondue. Let's add a splash of vinegar for tanginess. Could you please chop the nuts for the dessert? I'll roast the vegetables, and you can boil the pasta. Can you whisk the egg whites until stiff peaks form? I'll tenderize the meat, and you can season it. Let's add a hint of nutmeg for a warm taste. Could you pass me the food processor? I'll prepare the marinade, and you can coat the chicken. Can you dice the potatoes for the stew? I'll brown the meat, and you can chop the onions. Let's garnish the dish with some fresh cilantro. Could you please grate the ginger for the sauce? I'll steam the broccoli, and you can slice the mushrooms. Can you check if the bread is toasted to perfection? I'll add the vanilla extract to the batter. Let's drizzle some honey over the dessert. Could you pass me the zester? I'll knead the dough, and you can let it rest. Can you toss the salad with the dressing? I'll brown the onions, and you can chop the garlic. Let's add a splash of soy sauce for umami. Could you please whip the cream until it's stiff? I'll blanch the vegetables, and you can prepare the sauce. Can you julienne and the bell peppers for the stir-fry? I'll grill the chicken, and you can make the side salad. Let's garnish the dish with some fresh mint leaves. Could you pass me the peeler for the potatoes? I'll mix the wet and dry ingredients for the batter. Can you sprinkle some crushed red pepper for a kick? I'll roast the nuts, and you can chop the dates. Let's drizzle some balsamic glaze over the dish. Could you please crush the garlic for the marinade? I'll steam the asparagus, and you can sauté the mushrooms. Can you check if the meat is cooked to the desired doneness? I'll blend the ingredients for the smoothie. Let's add a sprinkle of sea salt for a finishing touch. Could you pass me the pastry brush? I'll prepare the sauce, and you can cook the pasta. Can you dice the tomatoes for this also? I'll fry the tofu, and you can chop the scallions. Let's garnish the dish with some fresh dill. Could you please zest the lemon for the dressing? I'll steam the broccoli, and you can roast the potatoes. Can you check if the cake is done with a toothpick? I'll sauté the mushrooms, and you can chop the bell peppers. Let's drizzle some maple syrup over the pancakes. Could you pass me the sieve? I'll mix the batter, and you can grease the cake pan.